Illustration rare prices have gone through the roof over the last couple of months, and I think this is a sign of what's going to happen with the secret illustration rares from the Scarlet and Violet era. So today we're looking at the top 5 secret illustration rares which I think are undervalued and you guys need to take a look at. But before we get into it, hit like, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. I appreciate your support so much. So all these cards are sub $40, and considering these are meant to be the big chases from the set, that's what secret illustration rares are, that to me is a no-brainer of picking these up. Let's start off with the cheapest of the list, Boss's Orders from Paldea Evolved. Now if you've watched my channel before, you will know that Pokemon cards in my opinion are much more valuable and better investments and better holds generally than trainer cards. But there are a couple of trainer cards out there which break that rule. And for me, while this isn't the top band of those trainer cards, this has real potential. It's sub $15, which is very good value for money for a secret illustration rare. It's from a trainer, Getsis, who's extremely famous from the games and has probably one of the best storylines in all of the games. The artwork itself is really cool. Now, it's not the elite level artwork like Morty's Conviction or the new Lily's Clefairy card, but it is really cool. And it's from an amazing set. Now, if you saw my illustration rare video, you'll know I really rate Paldea Evolved and I think it's going to go up massively in the long term. Now, there usually is a correlation between the set and the cards. Usually, if the cards go up, the set goes up. Also, sets that are out of print and sets that are hard to get and are getting more expensive, the cards themselves can end up becoming more expensive because of that. And what makes this a no-brainer pickup in my opinion for such a low price is that we're getting a new black and white set coming out. So for me, when that set comes out or near the time that set comes out, when the hype builds up, that's when this card is going to climb a bit in price. Coming in next, again from Paldea Evolved, is Skeledirge. Now this is a prime example of the new trends in Pokemon collecting and investing. I've always believed that if it has a good Pokemon in the card and a good artwork, that is a top tier investment. And that is still true, I do believe that. But what I'm starting to realize is that the Pokemon in the card can actually mean less than I originally thought in some cases. The artwork these days is holding a huge weight on whether cards go up or down. And I think the same thing will happen with this Skeledirge. It is a fantastic art of a Pokemon doing its, I guess, day-to-day life. I mean, I don't know who is going to be walking a Skeledirge like this, but you get the point. It's really vibrant, the Skeledirge really pops out. It's just a really happy, fun looking card, and I think that will resonate with a lot of people. Plus, it's a Pokemon from a starter line, it's from a great set in Paldea Evolved. I think those two combined will add to the desire of the card. At $24, it's another great option. A card which if you did some searching around, you can definitely find for less, and a card which I think over time will get more expensive. And with Skeledirge, we can see it's a very slow increase over time. It's not like a massive burst at one moment. And I think that's going to be the case generally for this card. Up next, a card that has dropped recently in the last week or two, and that is Giovanni's Charisma. Look, we spoke about this in the illustration rare video. If it's 151, it's definitely worth investing in. Anything 151 is worth it in my opinion. This hands down is the best trainer card from 151. And in my opinion, it's one of the best trainer cards we've seen in the Scarlet and Violet era. Not only that, Giovanni's really famous. It's also a beautiful looking card. It looks really classy, really cool. It's a card that people are going to want for their master sets. I think this card will drop a little bit more before it's the right time to pick it up. Maybe another couple of weeks. But then it's going to shoot up in my opinion when the new Team Rocket set comes out. And the truth is, compared to Giovanni's XL, it's just a way better looking card. That's why this is a great pickup for a Giovanni card, and definitely a great pickup as another secret illustration rare trainer from the Scarlet and Violet era. Next up, another Paldea Evolved card. I know there's a theme, and it's because the set is just that good and just that underrated. It's Chi-Yu, sitting at just over $30. And this is almost an exact copy of the reasoning for Skeledirge. It's a really cool Pokemon. I like Chi-Yu. I'm not sure it's the most loved Pokemon, but it's a liked Pokemon. But more than anything, this card's artwork is top tier, like elite level artwork. And if we're going to add another thing to it, which is actually similar to the Skeledirge and I didn't mention earlier, it's part of a subset. And from the subset as well, Chi-Yu is probably the best looking of the four. And particularly for this card, the secret illustration rare texture on it really adds to the card. Now, Chi-Yu has had a bit of a sudden increase in price, and that doesn't lend itself great to investing or collecting in singles, but I think it will go higher in the long term. Then again, this Pokemon bubble is so big right now, and who knows what's going to happen. But if we do see the hobby still quite big in a year, I think this will be one of the big cards to look out for. And lastly, it's the Garchomp EX. Now, you've probably already seen it because it has had a bit of an increase over time, and it is sitting at about $38. That's a great pickup. It's a fantastic looking card, a fan favorite, and it's from a good set. There's a couple other cards from that set which will make this desirable, and I think this actually has the potential to be one of the big hitters from the set. Now this card is actually different from most other secret illustration rares. It's not your typical Pokemon in an environment and doesn't really tell a story. And I think at first people didn't really rate that, but I think now it's actually aging really well. As time goes on, I think people are starting to appreciate that it's kind of cool to have these alternative style of secret illustration rares, and this is kind of the best one I think we've seen. Honestly, there's probably 3 cards in the Scarlet and Violet era that have grown on me this much. Giovanni's Charisma that we talked about before, and the Raichu from Paldea Evolved, along with this card, are cards that over time have aged like a fine wine for me. It's worth looking at the fact that there aren't that many PSA copies for this card. There are just over 2,000 graded copies, and quite a significant portion of them are 10s, 900, but as an absolute number, 900 PSA 10s in the wild is very small. And although it is expensive, I think a PSA 10 copy of this card will definitely fetch good money in the future and be a great addition to your collection and a great investment piece. So those are my top 5 secret illustration rares which are completely underrated, and you guys definitely should take a look at them. Let me know if you agree with my list and if you have any secret illustration rares that need to be looked at in the comments below. If you like the video, hit like, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. I appreciate your support so much. And until next time, invest in some secret illustration rares.